We
We're
on?
not live. Now we are.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Beyond the Kayfabe. This is your regular host, Ilya S. Back again. We did not have a podcast for you for a little bit longer than usual. Life happens, life gets in the way, but we're finally back. And we're doing a little two-parter A and B podcast, so this may be a little bit of a shortened version tonight, but we will be back with you on Saturday. Have a lot of topics to address. Raw, SmackDown, the talent pushes and whatnot. And I'm with my co-host, Daniel MS right here. Dan the Man Boxing, Daniel MS. How's it going?
I'm going good, brother. Going good, going good. How's everything?
Oh, same old, living the dream.
We hearing it, man. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
So why don't we get into the unfortunate news first, and get the bad news out of the way before the good news. How about that?
Good idea. Well, let's start with the bad news and then going into somewhat good and disappointing news, I should say.
Yeah.
The unfortunate news, I know we're kind of late on this one, people, but we all want to give our 2 cents on the situation, is that Leon White, aka Vic Van Vader, or Vader, in shorter terms, have passed away last week. Last week it was announced on Wednesday by his son, but he died 2 days before that. Prior to that, to the announcement.
Yes.
He actually died.
Are you sure it was 2 days before?
Yeah, I think it was 2 days before. It was, I think, Monday, 7 p.m. or 7:30 p.m. His son had announced it on social media on that Wednesday morning, so that he died 2 days prior or a day prior, one of the two. But it was prior to the announcement, obviously, way prior. So it was.
And he actually said he had 2 years to live. Vader said he had 2 years to live about 2 years ago. That's what the doctors told him. This heart surgery was supposed to give him a little more time, but obviously, unfortunately, he got sick with pneumonia, and that took him out for good. But it was kind of known that he didn't have long left, which is why it's kind of upsetting. And again, WWE could have put this person in the Hall of Fame. They had a lot of time, and the fact that he knew that his time wasn't. He didn't have much left, and so he could have had that speech, been there and had that speech and been able to enjoy that, and gotten his rightful place in the Hall of Fame. Because I mean, he's one of the most underrated talents. Let's be honest, in history. Yeah. I mean, he's a big man. He was agile. He was very agile, and he was involved in a lot of really classic bouts, whether it was with Mick Foley. Or even with guys like Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. So unfortunately, he will probably be inducted, but he will not be there to enjoy the fruits of his labor.
Yeah, and that's just where it is unfortunate too. Because here's the thing, Vader. I've looked back at past wrestlers who are like former employees of WWE, former contractors, as you want to call them, independent contractors, because they're performers according to the labor laws. The fact is that Vader, I couldn't find anything where Vader was on bad terms with Vince or anyone else.
Oh, no, he inducted Stan Hansen a few years ago. Do you remember that?
I remember that. He's been invited to come on Raw to do some guest appearances.
Yes. Well, that was back in 2012. That was back in 2012.
And Vader, and with Batista, he did a program with Batista maybe 4 years before that, So
he did do a program with Batista?
Yeah, shortly. Yeah, he attacked.
When was this?
This is like about 4 years before he inducted Stan Hansen. I think this is like 2005, 2006, something around there.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, there was a program where he came back, and I think it was someone else. I forgot who Batista was feuding, but Vader was helping this individual. I forgot who it was. Was it King?
Are you sure it was Vader?
It was Vader. It was him. Just type it up. It was Batista and Vader. If Vader attacks Batista, I mean, Vader was obviously overweighted, but still, he was there. And it's one of these things where WWE is like they get criticized for things like this. It's like when they know guys are at their last leg, they don't do anything to reach out to them. They don't even want to talk. put them into the Hall of Fame before they can, at least have their moment before they're, before they transition. Kind of like Randy Savage. But, obviously, to be fair, no one could foresee Randy Savage passing away the way he did. So that's why people deemed his death as untimely, because nobody didn't think he was going to leave, that soon.
Yeah, Randy Savage. We had guys like Dusty Rhodes, who nobody knew was going to pass away. Roddy Piper, but at least they got their
They were
moment.
already inducted. They already had their moment.
They had their moment, but still, it was untimely.
It was untimely. That's true. But guys who didn't have their moment, like Randy Savage, now Vader. I mean, WWE just got to do something. Jack Tunney. I know Jack Tunney was in the Hall of Fame way before that. But what's so cool about that when he passed away several years ago, not one representative of WWE even attended his funeral. I guess there was a lot of bad blood between Tunney and that company when he transitioned out of there.
Now, Hulk Hogan get kicked out of the Hall of Fame? Do you think if they mend fences and he comes back that he's going to get reinducted?
Oh, they're going to reinduct him. Look, what it is.
Another induction, huh?
Yeah, let's put it this way. It's kind of like when you're a athlete and sometimes you're a coach, your records get vacated because of violations and scandals, whatnot. But until everything's cleared up, I mean, usually they don't reinstate those records. But in this case, this is not really a actual athletic program. The reason why WWE did that because it was PR, it was damage control, PR related situation. So once this whole thing blows over, which it has now, because people pretty much just forgiven Hogan for what happened when he got caught on tape using racial slurs towards blacks, my people, that is. But the fact is that now that's kind of been died down over the years. They're going to slowly bring it back in, and people are going to forget about it. People have forgot about it, So, I mean, back to think about WWE waiting too long. I mean, yeah, do they deserve to be criticized for this? Maybe so, because somebody had to know. Someone in that company had to know about Vader's health and his condition. They knew he didn't have much time left, and they didn't bother putting him into the Hall of Fame before he transitioned. But the question is that this news came out about his congestive heart failure came out a year ago, right? Correct?
2
years ago. Okay.
The doctor told me he has 2 years to live. He had to have 2 surgeries. One didn't go as planned. He had to go back under the knife. And so I don't think he ever really got better from, since he had those surgeries back in March or so.
Right. Yeah. And here's the thing, too. That's the thing, too. I mean, the representative knew what was happening. Why couldn't they reach out to him and say, you know what, Leon, let's put you in the Hall of Fame? At least give you that, that moment. I mean, was he reached out? Hopefully he did. Did he turn it down?
Well, now it'll just be his son inducting him. Was it the same thing with Paul Bearer? I mean, he passed away before he was even able to give a speech.
Yeah, Rick Rude. That's another thing. WWE got criticized for that. Well, actually, not really. They didn't really get criticized.
Rick Rude died young.
They did kind of get criticized because they took too long to induct Rick Rude to the Hall of Fame. They did take a long time after he died. It took them, 17 years for them to induct him, or 15, 16 years. So it took them a long time to get him in there. I mean, look, it's one of these situations that they got to be more thoughtful next time when things like that happen, when they have a former employee who hasn't really had a bad record of being on bad terms with somebody. I mean, you at least give them that honor, give them that that platform to enjoy.
And they do it for some more than, what I mean? Some they do it, some they do it. It's very strange who they pick, who they don't. Goldberg got his nod this past year, so
yeah,
that is definitely a mended fence right there. But I'm sure deep down there's still some feelings there.
Yeah, I mean, Goldberg and WWE were on bad terms for a long time, Like you said, there was bad feelings there, but they
or a guy like The Rock's father. He you think he would have got inducted if The Rock wouldn't have been such a big deal? Wouldn't have become such a big deal in Hollywood?
Right. Rocky Johnson.
He probably wouldn't have been in the talks yet.
That's a possibility, brother. That's a big possibility. But like I said, man, I mean,
so yeah, Vader, very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate passing. I mean,
but expected, which is unfortunate for
Yeah, we all knew it was going to happen, but we didn't expect it to happen this soon. Let's put it that way. We knew it was going to happen. He knew his time was coming, but not this soon. Let's put it that way. We did not know. And God rest his soul, Leon White. You mentioned his great matches with Taker and Shawn Michaels. And by the way, Shawn Michaels was the prick at the time that destroyed his push. We all know about that.
Vader?
Yeah. I'm sure
Yeah.
Yeah,
And of course his time in WCW, which I'm not as familiar with. I want to go back and watch those that stuff because he was a very different cat in WCW.
Oh,
he
man,
was
dude.
actually a pretty big freaking deal.
Yeah, he was, man. Vader was like larger than life. When you talk about larger than life characters like WWE had, or WWF, that was formerly WWF when they had Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, those guys, and The Undertaker, this, that, and the third. But if you go to WCW, they didn't really have those type of cartoon character type of wrestlers. They tried that with Kevin Nash in the beginning with Oz. That didn't really work, whatnot. But WCW was a little different. They actually allowed these guys to be who they are, even though they did give them some gimmicks. But they allowed them. Post Jim Herd. Pre Jim Herd time, but before Jim Herd, who was running things, he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. But the fact is that anybody who knows who Jim Herd is, the old WCW referring to. But the fact is that Vader, he did have a gimmick, but it seemed like real. It seemed like it was him. He embodied that character. He made it believable. He was a guy that it made you believe that you had to fear. He was a nose tackle in football. He had a career like Ron Simmons, was a legit tough guy, a guy you didn't want to mess with. But at the same time, he was a very sensitive guy. So you can hurt the man's feelings if you really get to him.
Yeah.
But the fact is that he had great battles with Sting. He had great battles with Ron Simmons. Sting matches were very good, man. Ric Flair, Rick Rude. We talked about Rick Rude just months ago. He had some great matches.
I just need to go back. Remember that Mastodon helmet that he debuted
with? Man. Yeah, that was kind of scary when I was watching that as a kid. I was like, whoa, what in the hell? He come out with that damn thing.
And he looked kind of different. It was a different mask. And this man wrestled like one of those hardcore strap matches with Stan Hansen and lost his eye. Went out of his socket.
That was grotesque.
He had to put it back in. And tough son of a gun. Tough son of a gun.
Oh, he played football. He was on the gridiron, man, because in football, you could lose your fucking leg, man, playing out there in that gridiron in the field, man.
He was real tough and real big, a powerhouse, 6'5", right?
And very agile. He was a very athletic individual for that size. That was unbelievable.
And that's WWE really overlooks that. Somebody who's so unique and brought so much to the table. Now, I'm guilty of it, too. I never thought of Vader when I think of some of my favorites, but... unfortunately, during these difficult times, we think back to these kinds of things.
Right. Yeah, no, man, I know, and to me, like I said, I wish he had gotten the proper respect. I wish he had gotten the like I said, just part of me just upset that WWE knew about the man's poor health, that they didn't do anything to reach out.
I think Vince is a little bit senile at this point. I think that his decisions aren't exactly very clear-minded.
Of course not. The man's fucking, the man is way out of touch, He's always been out of touch for many years, So, Vince McMahon can just straight up, like I said, I respect the guy for what he's done for the business. He's transcended it to like in the mainstream platform. Mainstream platform that no one's ever thought pro wrestling would go. So credit to Vince. He's made it a worldwide conglomerate, especially with the company that he helped, that his father built, by the way, that he helped elevate, enhance, words in recent years. So, he deserves that respect, But the fact is that, still though, he's a senile bastard. You can't always get things your way. Sometimes there's a level of respect that you just, there's a line that you don't cross sometimes with certain people, man. That Vince got.
And Triple H is kind of trying to fix that. He did make the deal with Bruno Sammartino. If it wasn't for Hunter, I don't think Bruno would have ever. I think Bruno would have been in the same situation as Vader.
Oh yeah, true. Bruno passed about a couple weeks, 3 weeks before Vader did.
No, Bruno passed away in April.
Oh, so that okay, 2 months ago. Okay,
or May, one of those.
I think it was May. It was early May. Yeah, it was early May. He
Early
passed,
May. Hmm.
and that was something we didn't expect to happen, and the cause of death is unknown at
Well,
the time.
I mean, it's less unexpected than Vader just because he was older, but yeah. Yeah, speaking of passings, Michael Jackson's father, and that's completely off topic. Michael Jackson's father just passed away.
Yeah, Joe Jackson. Yeah, Joe was already well, with what I've been hearing, he already had terminal illness already, terminal cancer. So he was on his
Mm,
leg, and I mean, it was surprising to me he lived to be 89 with terminal cancer for that long stretches of time.
yeah, 89.
Yeah.
I guess he was sick for a while, but it's not as big. They're not making as huge of a deal about it as when Michael passed.
Well, Joe, I mean, true. I mean, I guess because Joe Jackson had a bad reputation as being a hard ass,
Yeah, hard ass.
who pushed his kids, beat his kids to the point that got to the brink of them becoming celebrities. He did. Yeah, I mean, some people could say, well, he was too harsh on his kids. A couple of them were screwed up psychologically because he made them adults at a young age. He pretty much lived it through them. I get that psychological perspective because I totally agree with that, and I think it's a bit of a mistake to push your kids to that situation. But some people are going to disagree and say, hey, fuck no. If it wasn't for Joe Jackson, we would not know who Michael Jackson was.
Right.
Jackson would not become the man that he was, the phenom of a star that he was.
That's some crazy discipline.
Yeah, Janet would not become the star that she is. Jermaine, Tito, Marlon,
all of them,
Jackie, all of them. Randy. Well, Randy got screwed up always psychologically. Dude's messed up in the head.
Did Latoya get screwed up too? I think she was saying some things too.
Oh yeah, Latoya is just way out. I mean, obviously that's why she's kind of like the black sheep of the family. She's like an outcast.
Oh yeah.
I mean, doing all kind of crazy stuff, but untalented, by the way.
Yeah, but off topic, but still pretty unfortunate. I mean, 89. I don't know. He lived a long life.
He did, very long life, and the family needs to mourn at this point. Michael's gone. Now. I
think Catherine's pretty old too.
She's I mean, they ain't lived together for many years, and separated for many years. They never filed for divorce.
Mm-hmm.
He living in Vegas, and then she was obviously living here, still living here in LA, in Encino, still over in.
Wasn't he doing some shows in Vegas still?
No, he was managing some groups over there, and then Joe actually had a cart over there in Vegas, one of the malls, when he was like trying to sell some stuff to his artists to people.
Oh, really? Joe Jackson, huh?
Yeah, he was running a cart over there in the Vegas mall somewhere, and people were like, "What? You Michael Jackson's father? What are you doing here?"
That must have been a great surprise.
Yeah, I mean, Michael spent most of his time in Vegas too, by the way, before he died. So he always he loved Vegas. Yeah, he loved to go to Vegas.
I heard that before he died, he was doing a lot of things overseas. That his popularity was bigger overseas at that point.
Oh yeah, I mean, when he did his world tours, he never toured in the States after Bad. I mean, to be fairness though, he was supposed to make a stop when he did the Dangerous tour in Hawaii, but that show got canceled. So yeah, but it is what it is. But yeah, rest in peace, Joe Jackson. I know we're off topic a bit on that, but it is what it is. But yeah, so anyways, Vader, God rest his soul.
God rest, yes.
God rest his soul is unfortunate.
And now all we can do is recognize his contributions at the next Hall of Fame. Or the next couple
absolutely,
years.
Man. Next couple of years. But you know what's funny? I hope Sting inducts him. Or Mick Foley. I think
I'm sure his son will get that opportunity, but maybe Sting will be part of it too.
Yeah, or Mick Foley will probably be part of it as well. I remember
it was a big help to the family.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels was we already know he was the guy that destroyed his push back in '96. So
speaking of Shawn, did you hear the rumblings that he's got the itch again? That he wants to do some shows? He wants to do some wrestling?
I heard. I mean, Shawn Michaels is in great shape for an old guy. I ain't gonna lie.
He wants to tag with Hunter. I'm not sure where or when it's gonna happen, but he's pretty open. Actually, the big Melbourne show, and we could go into detail about that. because Undertaker versus Triple H was already announced for that huge extravaganza. But I wouldn't be too surprised to see Shawn and Hunter do a little tag. Well, actually, not that show since Hunter's facing Undertaker, but I wouldn't. Anyway, I wouldn't be surprised to see Shawn involved in some way pretty soon. Hopefully, it comes
isn't that
at the
supposed to be like
proper
right? Isn't that supposed to be like a pay-per-view show over there in Australia?
It's going to be huge. It's going to be a huge show. Undertaker is going to be wrestling on it, and I think it's going to be similar to what they did in Saudi Arabia. And that's coming up in October.
Well, if that's the case, then I don't know, man. I mean, 100,000 seats. Are anybody going to show up for that show? I mean, yeah, I'm sure they could draw at least 40, 50,000, but at 100,000 seat arena, can they do it? Or 1,000 seat stadium, can they do it over there?
How many thousand is it there?
Over 100,000 seats in that stadium.
They did it at AT&T Stadium. Plus, Australia doesn't really get WWE shows too often, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to be wanting to go, especially with that Undertaker wrestling.
Well, you could be right about that, but we'll see. Oh, I mean, I hope for the best. I mean, obviously, Ronda Rousey is going to have to be part of the headliner, so she's very popular over there, so they could have her there, you know. So
yeah,
I mean, hey, all power to them. You know, all power to WWE, man. If they can pull that off, hey, can't knock them for it. But you know what? Let's move on to something else, man. I know we've.
All right, so I have a little rant. About that.
Here we go. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
I know you didn't watch the show, but I think you may know the results, right?
Oh yeah, I do.
So SmackDown came to us live from Ontario, California, for some reason, and it's not the Staples Center. Let me tell you that. But I had the pleasure of going there live, so I'll be your correspondent for tonight, and Nakamura got bit in the leg by a dog. So we all heard about this by now, right?
Right.
So that Jeff Hardy match. So when I came in the building, I was a little bit late, but when I came in the building, Jeff came out and he was facing Eric Young of Sanity. Pretty cool, but I had no idea. Nobody announced it to the crowd. I guess they said something on the commentary that Nakamura wasn't going to be there. So, that's an unfortunate situation. I understand that Nakamura got injured and card is subject to change. I get that. But on the billboard, right in front, when you walk to the arena, they've got AJ Styles advertised. They've got Charlotte advertised. They've got Asuka advertised. Mm-hmm. Carmella, Naomi. And guess what? None of those people came out. None of those people were even there. Apparently, Carmella and AJ were in Australia. They weren't even in the States.
Jesus Christ! Are you
Charlotte was getting her boob job fixed, and I'm not sure why Asuka wasn't on the card. But they announced the match between her and God, what's that guy's name? Help me out here. Carmella's little buddy.
James
Ellsworth. Yeah, so James Ellsworth was there. So imagine that. They advertise all these people. None of them come out. AJ Styles, the face of the company, the man who's moving the most merch over on SmackDown, not there, advertised to be there. I don't know about other people. They might have not cared, but it kind of pissed me off. It really pissed me off. I mean, they tried to make up for it by giving us a dark match, which was The Miz and Samoa Joe versus the New Day, but still, it was a letdown. It was a real letdown. The worst show I've been to, hands down. Live.
Well, you and I have talked about this many times. We know that WWE is not concerned about competition. That's why they get the cheapest writers out there. In my opinion, they pay them not at the great rate that they should pay writers who know the business very well. So they're going to get these writers. They're going to, they're going to pay them at, like I said, at a cheap rate. Since there's no competition, they don't really have to push their product very hard because they already know they got hardcore fans who's not going to not only, but they're not going to leave. The only thing you're going to do is going to keep complaining and complaining until they believe the show is going to get better. They know that. That's what's going on. It's been like this for the last, I'll say 12, 15 years. Ever since WCW died, in my opinion, that's what kind of somewhat killed the competition field of the wrestling business. I know Ring of Honor is still there and all that, but can they really compete with WWE?
Well, we're off a long way from when WCW died. I mean, we're off about.
But that was their biggest competitor. They competed the hell out of them. But WCW was really pushing WWE to their limits, and we needed that. But it seems like now it's like, we don't, it's just like, they don't have to push their product now because they have no competition. That's a fact. It's sad.
And I mean, SmackDown's not that bad I mean, we get Nakamura, we get Styles, we get these names every week, at least a majority of them. They were trying to base it off of that Kane return and Hell No reuniting, which, don't get me wrong, was a nice surprise, but I think Ontario, California just wasn't important to them. Styles going to advertise himself in Australia was more important than Ontario, California at that particular moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's a letdown. You don't advertise. How can you advertise a show with certain superstars or certain wrestlers and they don't show up? That's considered false advertising.
The Nakamura thing, I understand.
All right, why is that?
He got injured. Okay. He couldn't do it. But the other stuff, that's really not fair. And so I'm thinking to bring it up and to try to get my money back for this show.
Well, you know what, bro? Good luck with that because.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that because the WWE, they always say when they issue tickets, once you go to the show, you check in, no refunds. Sorry.
Yeah, well, it's always worth a try, right?
Yeah, it's always worth a shot. It wouldn't hurt, but it is what it is.
It was definitely a letdown. So now that I talked about SmackDown a little bit, why don't you tell us your thoughts about Raw?
Oh, man, Raw is Raw. I mean, look, like I said, it goes back to the fact
it wasn't as bad as SmackDown. We can't say that.
No, it wasn't as bad.
I mean, that match between Rollins and Ziggler alone held it up.
I mean, they always, Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins always put up good matches. That's nothing new. You know what I mean? They're going to put put up
spectacular
5-star matches. Even though Seth Rollins is known to be. Well, he hasn't gotten this reputation these days as being a reckless performer worker, but yeah, he and between him and Ziggler, you're gonna get nothing but A+ matches. But other than that, good match. That was probably the best match on the show. Everything else fell flat. But the things you got Bayley and Sasha Banks going at it, they're probably going to do something with that rivalry. Something they should have done at.
What do you think about that? What do you think about them going toward the heels thing with Bayley? That was kind of a swerve, right? Everybody was thinking Sasha.
But that's a bit of a swerve. But I think what management looked at the who's getting more heat opposed to as a face.
I mean, we've been saying Bayley sucks, Bayley's stale, Bayley sucks, but now it's getting interesting.
Well, it's a perfect time to turn her heel because she can't get good heat. I mean, she can't get a good pop. Every time she comes out.
Neither can Sasha, to be fair. Neither can Sasha. I mean, she does get a good pop, but she hasn't been doing much.
Well, sooner or later, they're going to start turning on her, too. So, at this point, it's better to turn on Bayley. And the irony about this, though, I'm going to just say this. The irony about this is that why the hell when somebody like Bayley, who's getting so much heat, even though she's a face, also she's transitioning to the heel, which is the right thing to do, but why is it that people like Roman Reigns and fucking John Cena, who's been fucking getting heat for years for the from the audience, from the WWE universe, quote unquote, and they have refused to go heel? what the fuck is going on there? You know?
Roman Reigns and John Cena.
Yeah, and we all know the reason why they don't go heel because they
Roman Reigns, he's done an interview recently, and he thinks that he's already a heel.
He
says that he's already a heel.
He ain't no heel. The motherfucker's a face. So excuse my language.
Because fans already boo him.
Exactly, and that's what I'm gonna get to a second because Bobby Lashley probably said the most.
But I mean, I see your point. They're supposed to boo for the right reasons. Like they're supposed to boo. It's supposed to be different than that.
Right, but when Bobby Lashley came out, when he had him and Roman Reigns go at it for the last couple of weeks, yesterday, well, on Monday, he said the best thing, probably the best part of the show that I've heard in a long time. He's like, Roman, the reason why you can't do what you can do against Brock because one, you're not that good. Two, this is only paraphrasing what he said. Two, people get sick and tired of seeing you. And when he said that, the whole crowd just popped when they heard that. They were like, yeah. I'm like, man, that right there's going to
So I'm guessing that was your favorite part of the show.
Hell yeah, that was my favorite part of the show. And I think that was something Bobby Lashley needed to get him over.
What do you think about? I mean, what do you think about this? I mean, they canceled that multi-man match. They're pointing toward Lashley versus Reigns for Extreme Rules, which is not necessarily going to happen. It's not confirmed yet. No. Paul Heyman did a cryptic tweet, a cryptic rant about Lesnar, obviously insinuating that there's nobody big enough for him to face. He's going to move over to UFC. For some reason, I still see. I'm still seeing Reigns Lesnar. At the end of the day, I'm still seeing Reigns Lesnar.
Dude, see, this is what I'm talking about. No competition. Don't throw this shit down our fans' throat. Period. All right. I don't know why they keep doing this shit with Roman Reigns. What the fuck does Vince McMahon see this guy that we don't in so many years? What is it? I mean, why does he continue to push this guy? You know, it's like fucking Vince, like, you know, keeping Kevin Dunn around when people don't like this guy as a producer, who's done a poor job in some cases as a producer, you know? So it's like, yeah. I don't get it, man. It's like, Jesus Christ, let Roman Reigns be Roman Reigns, man. He's not, and this is one of the things he's complained about over the years, is like they won't let him be who he wants to be sometimes, you know? And it's like, dudes, fans are sick and tired of seeing this guy. I mean, change, Jesus Christ, make him heel all of a sudden. I thought they were going to do that after he beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. When he came out, the crowd wouldn't let him speak. He couldn't even get 2 words out, which is that he got a tremendous heat for that. And then what he did, which is perfectly, and I'm going to say this, I'm actually for this right now because he did something that was perfect. He said 2 words to the crowd when they were booing him, and they say, you suck, you suck, you suck, and they wouldn't allow him to speak. All he said was a few words. This is my yard now. And he walked out of the room.
Oh, you like that? You actually like that part?
I like that right there. Because right there,
that's where it should have gone a different way.
That's where they should have gone with that heel turn right there. Because to me, I thought that was a perfect time to turn that man heel. They didn't do it.
Well, as you can see by the end of Raw,
you missed an opportunity there.
As you can see by the end of Raw this past week, they're still trying to get those face pops for him through that Shield nostalgia type of thing. They're still trying to
get and the bullshit, leading up to WrestleMania, and that bullshit they led up to WrestleMania, him going to try to do this a work shoot against McMahon and company about Brock Lesnar, trying to get the fans over, to get the fans to cheer for him. It's like the same shit they pulled with John Cena in the Make-A-Wish Kids Foundation segment, which a lot of fans got pissed off about because they felt that WWE went so low to freaking put those kids on there to have a segment with John Cena just so that way they could get the crowd to cheer for the man, that guy they don't like. And fans were pissed off about that. They're like, what the fuck WWE's doing? Are they really going that low to get a guy, their top guy, to get cheered by the crowd because even though they don't like him? Well, I mean, why would they do that? Why would they exploit those kids' health just to get their guy over with the crowd? That's what people were pissed off about.
It goes back to this Fox deal. I mean, like it or not, they feel very empowered at this point. I mean, really, and no successful businessman, business lady, business organization does this really. They want to go further. They want to get better. They want to do more. But really, they're kind of resting on their laurels at the same time because they know they don't have to do much more. They're pretty much set with this $1 billion deal. The deck is in their hands basically. It's if they want Reigns, and they're probably going to put him on that SmackDown show when it goes to Fox, and they're going to load that thing up. They may even cancel the entire brand extension for that, yeah. But they're gonna do what they want to do, and acts like Reigns, goofy other things that Vince loves to do, yeah. Such as that little backstage segment with Glow and Lana and Naomi, which was kind of goofy. I don't think you saw that because you didn't watch SmackDown, but things like that. They're already basically. Somebody's already green lighted these things, given approval for it, and so whether they make the fans happy or not, I don't think Vince really cares at this point.
No, he doesn't. Well, like I say, he doesn't care. He's got his $1 billion deal with the TV network, so he doesn't give a fuck what fans think at this point. This is what it's all about.
Here's a very surprising news statistic. SmackDown viewership hits new low in 2018. This past SmackDown got the lowest rating of the year so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to stop Vince from getting that $1 billion deal, so it don't matter. He'll probably do some shuffling around to get those ratings back up. We'll see. Or get better writers to get better storylines and start pushing guys that need to be pushed, or women wrestlers that need to be pushed, like Becky Lynch, for example. Yeah, he'll figure out a way to get those numbers back up if it becomes more stale than that. You know what I mean? Which I don't think he's going to panic at this point. He's not going to panic. There's nothing to panic about. But the women's Alexa Bliss. Okay, I know a lot of people are getting. This is one of those other situations too. Our fans are getting upset that she continues to get a big push. Great heel, great on the mic, not that good in the ring, but not that bad either. Great look, whatnot. But the fact is that people are getting tired to see this woman get pushed, and yet you get people like Amber Moon and Asuka not get the push that they need to get put. That they need. I know Asuka's getting her push at the title, but she's not winning it. They keep having her to fuck it. I mean, Charlotte, that's cool. No problem with that. But fucking Carmella, you get her to drop the Carmella of all people. I mean, yes, because Carmella, they're building her as a top heel of SmackDown, which is cool because Carmella does have heat. She's very good at the mic, just like Alexa Bliss. But to be fair though, Carmella's better in the ring than Alexa Bliss because she's more athletic. But the fact is. Absolutely. The fact is that Alexa Bliss is getting this push every single time, and fans are getting tired of it. What is she doing? And people putting out rumors that she's doing some favors for guys backstage. I heard something about that, but I don't know if that's true.
You said Carmella?
Not Carmella. I'm talking about Alexa Bliss. Some people are putting rumors out about that. I don't believe that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
But yes, people are hearing this. Don't quote me on that. That's what I heard. Don't quote me on that, please. Okay? But the fact is that that's a rumor. I don't believe it. What I would say is though, Nia Jax put out a tweet that blasted Alexa Bliss for some reason. And for some reason, what I've been hearing is that Nia Jax, we all know off screen, they're both good friends, very best friends, Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. For some reason, Nia seems to be upset with Alexa to the point that she's deleted all the tweets and all the pictures they took together. She took it off her social media accounts, and she took a direct shot at Alexa Bliss about something. I don't know what it is. I forgot what the message was. And for I've heard, WWE personnel is not happy about that, about Nia Jax and what she did. She's getting major heat for that. What she said about Alexa.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's that Nia's upset that Alexa.
Storyline purposes, yeah.
Yeah, probably for storyline purposes. Some people are assuming that's the case because if this was legit heat, then why she still got the tweets up? That's what I'm hearing. She still got the tweets up. I'm sure management would have told her of taking it down, but apparently,
So you're thinking is they actually have a personal rivalry?
Well, I don't know, but you know, if they're gonna further escalate the Nia Jackson and Alexa Bliss rivalry, go ahead, be my guest. But Ronda Rousey is suspended for 30 days. I don't know exactly what that storyline 30 days is. She's gonna go off doing other things, I guess, for 30 days. She can't do no house shows, probably. I don't know. But the fact is that Alexa Bliss, I mean, her champion again. Part of me tells me that you know what, why not? But the fact is that okay, you can't continue to give her a push that like this right now. It's about some time you give these other women a shot. I mean, you got Asuka. Well, she's at SmackDown right now. I mean, you got Ember Moon, who's a terrific wrestler. I don't see how she's gonna get a push, man. I'll be honest with you. But who may never know? Naomi got a push. She was a champion, so we'll see. You know. So I don't know, man. I just think that Alexa Bliss. I think her push has been overblown. I think WWE management needs to step back about her push a bit to give somebody else a shot. You know.
Well, she's charismatic. I would say that she's a little more charismatic than Becky Lynch in certain ways, but maybe she wasn't the right choice for that Money in the Bank this time around.
Yeah, probably. You know,
It's quite possible. A couple of other things. Are you done with the Divas thing, or do you want to keep?
No, we're done with that. Let's move on from that. We're done.
Little things. So Rusev faced off against. Who did he face off against this week on SmackDown? It was Rusev. Gosh, I was there, and I wasn't there yet, but
it was AJ Styles.
No, AJ Styles wasn't there. He's facing AJ Styles at Extreme Rules.
Oh, that's right.
But it was Rusev Day versus New Day member Xavier Woods. Okay. So that slipped my mind for some reason. So Rusev Day is really over, and I believe that's why they gave him this random title shot. I believe that's why they gave Rusev this random title shot. But Rusev Day is over. People like to chat along with it. But is he really over? And is he really a face? Because after the match, he picked up the microphone and he did a heel promo on AJ Styles. They're still making the guy a heel. So they're still doing that. And it's so confusing. Is the guy a face?
I thought he was a heel. I thought he was a face. Now he's still a heel. I mean,
has he embraced Rusev Day? The question is, do people just like to chant along, or is he really over? Is he really over himself?
He probably over himself, or I mean, I don't know what's going on with
Rusev. As a face, I mean.
He probably
do you remember that one-off title match between Bret Hart and the Patriot? We knew that was a one-off. That wasn't going to continue and grow. It feels like the same thing here. Rusev, I mean, it's one of those summer snooze fest pay-per-views, right? Rusev is not doing much. Styles is not doing much, I mean, until SummerSlam, where he's probably going to be paired with... I would say... Well, Daniel Bryan, maybe?
Probably.
So they're just... my point is, it feels the same as Bret Hart Patriot. Yes, it was a good match, but it was a one-off, and it was interesting, but it was a one-off. Is that what Rusev really deserves? Or could this have been a potentially blossoming character? Because... I enjoyed Rusev's initial entrance into the organization up until he lost to John Cena. Then it kind of went haywire. They're kind of doing the same thing with Lana. One week she's friends with Aiden English. The next week she's against him. The next week they're singing together and she's being a face. I think it's all Vince there. He changes his mind at the drop of a dime.
Yeah. Can't make up his mind what he wants to do. I mean, like I said, I don't know what's going on with Rusev. He's either a heel or he's a face. Is he going to leave the company or is he going to stay? It seems like the man wants to leave because he doesn't seem to be happy every time he's out there. You know, he doesn't seem like he's happy with the company. He's been unhappy with it for a long time now. And
well, this Rusev Day thing, that's what's caught on, and they are giving them the shot. And the question is why they decide to do it, and what are their motives for it?
that's a good question. Or is AJ Styles going to put him over? Because at some point in some time, AJ's going to drop that.
No, not to him. Not at that pay-per-view.
All right. I mean, but still, though, at some point,
I also believe the plan was for Nakamura to get the U.S. title because, you know, he lost so many world title matches against AJ. It would kind of be like a makeup thing for him to get that prize. But obviously, we saw what happened with him. So, yeah, when is Styles losing that belt? I believe that he's not for a while. I mean, look at this push he's getting into 2K19. They probably want to have him as champion in the face of the brand because he's on that cover. And that's really always, I mean, it's like we went to a live show to see a monitor and his face on
it. I hear you, man. I hear you. But
yeah, Rusev, that was a terrible SmackDown. What a leg. I went to SmackDown Live, and I didn't go to Raw this week because it felt like SmackDown was loaded with better stars. But that didn't happen this week. What do you think of Kane returning? What do you think of Team Hell No being reformed?
I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean,
does it fit with the whole Bludgeon Brothers storyline? Does it fit in for Brian? And do you think this is also a one-off, or do you think they're going to continue this longer? Since Team Hell No was pretty popular, you think?
Yeah, well, it is, but Daniel Bryan, I think they're probably going to do it. I don't think it's a one-off. They're probably going to keep it go longer towards the next year because Daniel Bryan, I think the plan they're going to do is have Daniel Bryan win the title again against either AJ Styles or Nakamura at WrestleMania. One of the two. I think that's the plan. I mean, to put the title back on him because I don't think it's too soon to give him the title shot. You know what I mean? To give him the title, you know? My opinion.
Wow.
Well, what do you think? Hello?
I agree.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I that's what I believe. But I don't
know. Kane and Bryan, they were a big thing. They were pretty popular because they had comedy skits.
I know that's the
thing. But last time we saw Kane and Bryan, Kane was kind of the kayfabe reason that Bryan had to leave the company for neck surgery. So really? not sure why Vince is like trying to believe that we will forget about all that. But he does that a lot.
Oh my goodness. I don't know, man. I don't know.
He definitely does that a lot.
He does a lot, but I mean, let's just hope for the best for Daniel Bryan. I was glad to see him come back. I didn't think he was going to come back, but it is what it is, man. But let's move on.
The other thing I really quickly wanted to touch on SmackDown. This is real quick. 205 Live, the debut of Lio Rush. Did you happen to catch that?
No, I did not.
You should.
All right, I'll have to check that out, man.
The guy is fast. He's lightning fast.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check out the cruiserweights, man, because they don't see the...
He's got a good little gimmick. He reminds me of Enzo. He's young. I think, and he didn't get any sort of reaction, but coming in. But once he started competing and performing, people got into it. So I believe there are big things ahead for this guy, even though he's very small and all that.
Mm-hmm. I hear you, man. But I have to check out 205 Live. I think that would be. I think give those cruiserweights some more attention on this platform, to be honest with you. But the one thing we want to talk about before we wrap this up is Big Cass inspiring. We got to get into that real quickly. And
Big Cass. Yeah. So do you know what the real reason was?
Yeah, I actually found out what it was, and somebody brought this up shortly. What happened? It was a string of issues, but the last straw that broke the camel back. Before I get to that, let me just give you the timeline of what's going on. It all started with the segment that he was asked to do with the miniature Daniel Bryan, the midget Daniel Bryan. He was asked. Yeah. He was instructed to give the guy a kick to the face. That's it, nothing more, right? during the promo skit. So he said, no, wait a minute, we can make more out of this. He said, why don't I just beat the guy up a bit more, just make a statement? So the writers and the head writers of that segment said, no, we're not going to do that. You're going to have to just kick him, and that's it. Be done with the skit, done with the segment. So he didn't like that. He decided to go above their heads and go to Vince McMahon and said, hey, Vince, he pitched the idea for the skit, and Vince said, no, I don't think that's. He said Vince told him that's taking it too far. And I knew Vince McMahon to say that shit because he's a guy who was notorious fucking taking goddamn promo segments a bit too far when he had these women kiss his ass in front of an audience,
Yeah.
Anyways, besides the point. But the fact is, or dudes kiss his ass in front of an audience. But the fact is that Big Cass didn't like that. He took that, he was offended by that. So what he did, he committed the cardinal sin that you don't do as a performer who's not pretty much on that upper launch tier to do the hell you want, like Shawn Michaels or The Undertaker or even Triple H or maybe Bret Hart. He went in for the business for himself, and that's a cardinal sin. And that not only pissed off the writers, it pissed off Vince McMahon, and he was on their shit list for doing that. So he took the skit a bit farther than what it should with that miniature Daniel Bryan. We all know what happened in the story. Okay. Then another incident happened where he was on a tour bus, I believe, or on a plane. He went to go use the restroom, and then next, the lock was stuck. I believe the lock was stuck, and he believed that he was being hazed or he was being pranked or something. Not hazed. I'm sorry. He was being ribbed.
Immature.
And then what happened was he busted the door. He broke the lock. And then people who were on that bus on that plane was very upset because they had no choice but to use the bathroom when the when the door was on, when there's no door, and that's embarrassing, So he was very angry. He thought somebody was ribbing him, so he just busted the door like he was a madman. And then the last straw that broke the camel's back is what he confronted Carmella, his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. I didn't know they were apart.
Yeah, they broke up for a long while.
Because I saw pictures in the hospital when he was getting his surgery. I saw pictures of them together.
Right. Well, they broke up, but I heard the rumor that Carmella's with Big E now. That's the rumor I heard. But
no.
I don't know if that's true.
No.
I posted pictures of that, and I'm like, I don't know about that. But I don't know that was something I heard a while back. But I don't know if that's true. But anyhow,
apparently So let's get into what happened there.
What happened was that he had confronted Carmella. Yeah, they were talking, and he asked for her forgiveness. She walks away. When she tried to walk away from him, he aggressively grabbed her arm, and then few guys had to back her. They had to pull Cass away from her, and that was the last straw that broke the camel's back, and that's why management decided to let him go. They had a meeting. They decided to terminate his contract, and they never wished him to his future endeavors. So
they never wished him the best in this.
No.
I hear him and Enzo have heat too, so I don't think they're gonna get back together in the Indies anytime soon either.
Well, I heard a lot of people want them in the indie show.
They wanted, but I think they are not good with each other.
With Big Cass and Enzo.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny.
Enzo talks a little crap on Twitter or wherever, Instagram about him when he got fired.
Yeah, but it's funny though.
But we've been talking about for weeks that we don't like him. We did not like that music. Just look at that music he was given. Ultra generic.
First of all, Enzo was the one who carried them. So obviously with his mic skills and his brashness, his personality, and his charisma. Big Cass just didn't have no charisma. Sometimes he looked lost without Enzo, And the thing is too, is like, nobody thought these guys would get fired. Nobody thought they were going to get fired from them. Thought they were going to
about 2 years ago, they were the hottest thing going.
Yeah, they were the hottest thing going in NXT, and then they moved over to the Raw brand, and then eventually they had broken up. Big Cass started getting injured. Then he became heel all of a sudden. A lot of people didn't like the fact that he became heel. What was the point of that?
They broke him up. They just broke them up.
Broke them up for no reason.
then he got injured and Enzo became a heel, and they just kind of screwed his character up a little bit, put him on the cruiserweight division, and they're both gone.
Yeah. Oh well, it is.
Well,
What
of
it
course, those allegations, Enzo did. He was pronounced innocent, so at least
Yeah.
his name got cleared for that.
Yeah, he got cleared for the charges. Yeah.
Although that could still follow you, you know.
Yeah, that can. I mean, that still kind of like ruins your reputation to an extent. I mean, even though you get cleared, it's going to take a while for you to get over that. So it's going to be at some point, sometime that WWE is going to probably bring back Enzo. I'm not sure about
You think
Big
they're going to
Cass.
bring you back, Enzo?
They probably will bring him back.
Cass does have some valuable tools that I think a certain place called Impact Wrestling might want to utilize.
Yeah, that's a good point. They probably would. Or, yeah, Impact over in Toronto, because they're based in Canada now, from what I've been hearing. They're in Toronto.
They are.
Yeah.
They are, huh?
Yeah, so you might have to relocate up there. And you have, you have Ring of Honor over there in the South. And you got, New Japan, where I heard they're extremely popular, New Japan. I heard they actually got matches over here. So they even got like a base over here in New Japan Wrestling. So, I mean, those guys will be all right, because the indie scene, actually, you can make a lot of money in the indie scene, but depending on who you are, though, because even the top indie wrestlers, like guys with reputation who got big names, they make over like 120 grand a year doing indie wrestlings shows.
Right.
Yeah, but we all know that if you're like a low tier wrestler, you're not gonna make that much per show. You're probably gonna make about $100 per show, maybe, if that, 30, 40, 50 bucks. But if you're like let's say you are like a Chris Jericho, or if you're like a Cody Rhodes, you do indie shows, yeah, you're gonna be making over 100 grand, maybe 200 grand a year. You're gonna do that. Or Kenny Omega.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna be making over 500. Yeah, but Kenny Omega probably makes over 500 grand a year, if that, or 300, 400 grand. So.
Oh yeah, Kenny Omega's the one they never got yet. Huh?
Man, I know. I mean, yeah, that's probably a mistake that WWE should never have let go. They made letting that man go, and look where he's at right now. Chris Jericho's over there too, so it is what it is, man. But anyways, bro, I guess we're gonna have to wrap it up. We'll do our part two.
Yes, so, we could talk about John Cena's vasectomy.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but all right, partner. I guess we're gonna have to wrap it up. Thank you for coming on as always, and leading off the show as you always do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you guys know where to find us. The YouTube chat. I'll let Daniel MS talk a little bit about that before we get out of here, and we will continue this on Saturday. We'll have more in-depth talk, and hope you guys are enjoying this the show so far. Damn.
Yes, sir. I hope you guys are as well. As I've always said, we're going to be periodic with the podcast and video uploads as I've been doing for this past week. So any breaking news and updates, I'll keep you guys informed on that, and then we'll cover that on our podcast. Until then,
yes.
Okay. Go ahead, brother.
any live shows we attend, because there are some coming up, Survivor Series and such. In LA, we will definitely do some live correspondence.
Absolutely. We will definitely do that. Until then, y'all, we are out. Peace.
We're out. See you later.